The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TechGig webinar series, our endeavor to empower techies. We believe that sharing of knowledge is the key to enhance our skills and grow us as professionals. With this principle in mind, we have initiated a series of webinars conducted by industry experts to give you all a crisp insight of various domains. The topic of today's session is Enabling the Real-Time Enterprise with SAP HANA. And our guest speaker today is Abhishek Kumar Singh. He is the Senior Consultant with Mindtree Limited. Abhishek has over 9 years of experience in the IT industry and joins us from SAP Labs India, where he worked for 6+ years. He has been working with SAP HANA since 2010. His profile covers planning, blueprinting, rapid prototyping, full cycle implementation, and SAP on-site support services for the customers. His experience spans business object tools as well as Oracle DB. He holds a master's degree in computer science. He is also a certified Six Sigma Black Belt, ISTQB certified tester, as well as certified ISO 9001:2008 lead auditor. Abhishek is leading HANA, COE, and driving the creation of offerings in this space at Mindtree Limited. So, without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speaker. Over to you, Abhishek.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Aradhana. Yeah, hi all. Abhishek this side. So I think already Aradhana from TechGig has introduced me. So let's go ahead and start the presentation of today. To start with, let me set the expectations right, because I just went through all the profiles who have joined for this presentation today, and I see there are a lot of project managers, project leads, as well as freshers and many of the technical people who are non-SAP today, where I cover from you how the enterprise work in today's world much faster with the help of HANA. So the agenda for today, as you can see, is HANA overview, which will be very quick, data modeling, what modeling and what are the skill sets and how you can work around HANA, and the SAP HANA offerings. Currently, people are very much in dilemma where HANA can benefit them. So this will give you the entire HANA offerings from SAP. And then I have some use case or the technical know-how, how we migrate BW to HANA, and some rapid deployment solutions. What are those using SAP HANA? And also SAP HANA accelerators. And then we'll have key takeaways, and at the end, I'll keep 15-20 minutes for the question answer session, because I know many people will have a number of questions, so let's take it at the end. So going ahead, SAP HANA overview. SAP, you can say currently in the current scenario, what we see is there's a volume of data, and again, it's a non-structured data, and the velocity with which the data is rising is very fast. So to have a solution which would cater to all three explosions like volume, velocity, and variety was a key challenge for industry today. And there what HANA came into picture. And it is not in one day that HANA was in the industry. It was a journey. So I'll just take you through how HANA was from the live cache, how HANA evolved. Earlier we had something like live cache which SAP gave. Live cache is nothing but it keeps a persistent copy of data in memory and eliminates strips to the disk. So live cache is much faster because everyone knows that is the I/O time which eats up the processing time. Then the journey came to TREX HANA, where we had something like indexes were kept in memory. So the data, the index were in memory, and hence TREX engine was evolved. And now this is all around HANA. What's new from live cache or TREX engine HANA has incorporated is very simple. It has given you unlimited memory space where you can keep your index data of size till 16 TB, with 16 TB, which is currently supported by SAP. And okay, next slide is what is SAP HANA. Everyone talks about SAP HANA as an appliance. Appliance is nothing but it's a hardware plus software clubbed together makes an appliance. What's the hardware innovation? What happened on HANA was it is a multi-core architecture, massive parallel scaling with many blades, and it is 100 gigabytes turnaround time and dramatic decline in price and performance. And in the software technology, what we see, the column store was introduced. Currently, we have all the data in Oracle stored as row store. So traversal time for row store is very high than column store. And because of column store, the compression factor comes into picture. And then we have partitioning of tables, which again enhances your parallel processing. And then no aggregation or indexes required in HANA. And they are only inserts on Delta. So these are the few innovations which SAP HANA came up with. So that's why it's called SAP HANA Appliance, we call it. And SAP has tied up with few of the vendor partners like IBM, Cisco, HP, Dell, who gives you the hardware, and SAP is responsible for the software on top of that hardware. These hardwares are SAP certified, and hence you can buy from the certified vendors. Now let's talk about SAP HANA in detail a bit regarding what technical know-how is there in SAP HANA. First of all, it is flexible, multi-purpose, in-memory analytics, and heart of SAP HANA is in-memory computing engine. And what is in-memory computing engine? It's nothing but database and calculations engine. I believe everyone knows that SAP HANA does all the calculations in database. So we'll come to that later, but yeah, that's how is it different from other database. And in a nutshell, SAP HANA is a complete stack of SAP certified hardware, as I've already told, and few other software components. Here's a pictorial representation where you see how SAP HANA is different from other databases. So what we see is, first of all, is data storage. Traditionally, all the data is stored in a traditional database like Oracle or MaxDB as row store. In SAP HANA, it is columnar storage plus compression algorithm due to that. So this results in lower storage and hence lower TCO and higher performance. Second is processing. In traditional databases, what we see, we have a 3-layer architecture. So if you shoot a select statement, all your data comes into application layer and then you slice and dice. But with the calculation engine sitting in the DB layer, we only fetch the data which are required in the application layer. So hence, it is possible due to column storage as well as parallel processing. So this gives you a high performance, which can be from 10 times to 10,000 times. And to tell you a live example here, already I have done a implementation at a customer place, which we saw a report LV3LN does a 10,000 times acceleration, and that's true. It's not on paper, but yeah, it's from the experience. And then is reporting analytics. Currently, what we see, we have two types of databases. One is OLTP, transactional, and one is OLAP, analytical. OLAP is what you call as data warehouse or business warehouse, and OLTP is Oracle. All the applications, SAP or non-SAP, runs on Oracle with the transactional data. So what HANA has done, it has clubbed OLTP and OLAP, and the advantages are huge. Like you can always have a drill down, you can always get a historical and the current data at one shot without thinking of two systems. Currently what happens, SAP BW, we can always get a historical data, and all the batch processes or the data which are current is pushed once a day or twice a day in BW, and then it takes ages to fetch the record out of it. With coming of HANA, this is taken care of. And then obviously the landscape has reduced. If you see, we had multiple layers, middleware, and then we have different types of predictive DB, planning DB, which has reduced to one SAP HANA. So what we see here is lower TCO, real-time analysis, high performance, and lower storage cost. So this is what is HANA all about. So this is a pictorial representation of a classic DB versus in-memory database. If you see here, there is only one change which SAP has brought in with HANA. Its calculation engine has been pushed from application layer to DB layer. As I've already told, that all the calculations now happen in DB layer, and you fetch only those records which are relevant to your report in the application layers. But with Oracle, you are fetching all the records of a table and then doing calculation in application layer. So hence, the fetch time has reduced drastically. Now next slide is SAP HANA architecture. If you see, HANA system has preprocessor server, name server, and index server. Index server is the heart of HANA, where you have all the calculation engines, SPS scripting, data engines, repository, and connectors. And then you have something like MDX, JDBC, ODBC, which connects to your application layer. That is called HANA client, which has all the drivers in it. And once you install the driver, you can connect any of your Excel reports, BW reports via these drivers and consume it through any tool or the UI file. So going ahead with the SAP HANA, what exactly you need to achieve that? First of all, you have to understand the value opportunities in any business. Analytics, is it running slow, or how the analytics perform today? You have 100 reports which can be catered by one report, but as you know, the performance is slow, so you have created thousands of reports, you can club to one. Business processes, might be your business processes or batch processes are running very slow, and then with coming of HANA, you can reduce that pain point. And something new. Something new here means any application you can develop out of HANA. So this is again value opportunities to SAP HANA solutions. I'll talk in detail in next slides. These are some SAP HANA platform, accelerators, analytics, BW and HANA, and apps. And then deployment. You have to think of how to deploy your HANA solution. Either it should be in-premises or cloud, or you can have a hybrid model. So these are the few deployment solutions around HANA. Now let me take you through data modeling in HANA. What data modeling is all about? If I talk to a SAP BW guy, he says, yeah, we create models on SAP BW. So again, same type of models, or you can say the joins and the infrastructure you need to create around HANA. So this can be achieved either through UI or through your scripting. So if you see my slides, SAP HANA provides you an interface where you can create all your models. Models are nothing but the joins and the views. HANA Studio is an Eclipse-based UI where you can, the views can be used for reporting and decision making. And information objects are nothing but the different type of views. So if you see, we have two things, attribute and measure, that is common to all the models. Attribute is like customer ID, city, and measures are your numbers, like revenues, quantity sold. So these two, on these two you can make any type of views or models. So let's see how modeling process flows within SAP HANA. First of all, whenever you connect SAP HANA, that is to any of your systems, be it SAP system or non-SAP, first of all, the data structure tables, all the table structures are by default copied to HANA via the connection. Then provisioning of data takes place. That is, you have to load the physical tables which structures are already there in HANA with the data in it. So that is data provisioning, which there are few tools offered for it like data services, SLT. And then once the data is there in HANA, the tables are there in HANA, Now you need to create views on top of it by joining the tables. So that is where attribute view, analytical view, and calculation views come into picture. We'll discuss these in later. And then you have to deploy them. So you have to activate your views and check all the errors, syntax error, or any type of error you are getting. And then you have to consume those views. And HANA Studio, the best part is you can, before consuming it on any UI front, you can always see those reports in your HANA Studio also. So that's a data preview which HANA provides. And then you can consume via BIX, SQL, or MTX. So there are three types of views. Analytical view. These are reusable dimensions. For example, time, account. You have analytical views which are 3D or star schema ones. So these are when you have multiple tables and fields attached to it, like sales of a product in year 2010. Then combining these views, which you cannot, like unions and intersection, if you want to work on, then you need calculation views. So this is the three types of views on HANA. Before going to SAP offerings, I want to just reiterate what we have done. HANA is it's a database, but always you need a front end to support your database. So never think HANA can be a standalone system. You have to give it you have to club it with any of the tools to showcase the strength of HANA. Second thing is, these days people are very much confused with coming of HANA, how my role changes or how the SAP roadmap changes. ABAP still stays, all the function modules still stays. SAP is just trying to replace Oracle with HANA. And again, what type of languages, as we have seen, there are views that needs to be created on HANA. You can always create those views either through UI mode, which is drag and drop, or else you can write SQL scripting, which is very similar to MySQL, PLSQL. So a guy who is currently in Oracle scripting, he can be very well transition to SAP HANA. So now comes the offering. What exactly SAP HANA can offer to all the people? First of all is side-by-side scenarios. Side-by-side scenarios is very initial scenarios which SAP came up with. They already had a set of frame of mind that we should not disturb the current landscape. So SAP told customers as a value proposition, just add SAP HANA system parallel to Oracle, replicate it and read from HANA, and all your processing still takes place in Oracle itself. So the customer said very willingly, okay, let's go for it, because the current infrastructure was intact. Hence, these side-by-side scenarios came into picture. First was HANA Platform Data Mart. Data Mart was nothing but put all your tables in HANA, and whatever you want to consume it via, wherever you are reading via Excel or something, you can just consume it. Then was HANA Apps. Again, you can take it back to a SAP Business Suite, or else you can consume it via any apps. HANA Accelerators was like Copra Accelerator, FI Accelerator. These are few accelerators which SAP offers, which can speed up your month-end processes. So these is like you always push. There are only 4 tables which you require to push for Copra Accelerator: C1, 2, 3, 4, and your cost center. So this is 4 tables. Out of these 4 tables, once you push, you have all your structures in HANA, and you can read with the same T codes, with the existing T codes, all your Copra transactions you can. And then was Cloud on HANA, which is nothing but success factor and your on-demand, and Business One Analytics on SAP HANA. So these were sidecar approaches which SAP came up with for speeding up your current processes. Then SAP, with the future innovations, went ahead with something like Business Warehouse powered by SAP HANA, or Business Suite on HANA. That is SOH, which you call in short. So what SAP tried to do here is, it replaced the Oracle DB with SAP HANA DB. So you get the maximum insert, and all the insert, update, as well as delete and select was happening directly on HANA. So nowhere in the system was Oracle involved. And then you have something like Business Suite on HANA, and then you have HANA Apps. HANA Apps is nothing But if you write your SQL scripting on HANA and you have access server inside HANA itself, which exposes the OData and you can consume it via UI5 or any of the tool. Or currently everyone must have heard it's a Fury. So you can again consume all your development on HANA via Fury or your UI5. UI5 is just web. It is HTML5 short form. SAP uses as SAP UI5. So project flow, SAP HANA, how a project flows, because currently people or the customers, everyone is confused that how can we do the scoping or the design and how we can change. Because so anyway, scoping has to be around architecture. First you understand the current landscape of a customer, then go ahead with some their pain points, then find a solution around it. Data layer, you might have multiple data layers like data store, data cubes, ETL processes. These all how you will cater once HANA comes into picture. That is your metadata. Business rules or report elements all are there. And then reporting. Currently you might be using a ClickTech or your DEX analyzer or any of those things, DEX reporting at the front end of object. So how those changes. And then design, architecture. Architecture here is very important because obviously here you study about the cost. So cost is the licensing model, what type of licensing is required, how much data are you pushing to HANA. I'll tell you again a real life case. We have a customer who wanted his entire BW landscape to be pushed to SAP HANA, but the cost was very high. Then we gave him a proposition that you can use Sybase NLS, nearline storage. What it does is you can have all the whatever your business requirement, which the year like 2011 and 12 you are not using frequently. So you can always push that to Sybase NLS storage, and on the reporting layer you can consume parallelly from HANA as well as Sybase. That there will be a performance hit, but obviously you'll get cost saving on front of HANA. So that is one of the solution which was offered to a customer. So that's why your data size really does matter, because all your cost is around that. How much data are you pushing to HANA? Second is data and metadata. Let me bring it here. Currently, everyone must have heard like ABAP 7.4 has been released. ABAP 7.4 is a ABAP code optimized for HANA. So SAP gives you a standard optimization for HANA if you want to move. But if you have a custom course, obviously you have to work on your ABAP optimization, or else the optimization might not be as expected. That is one thing. And then reporting. Currently you might be having ad hoc reporting, all types of reporting. But yeah, you might be having a staging layer which you can get rid of because you are dealing directly out of HANA. So you don't need some aggregation around it. Hence, the staging layer you can get rid of. You might be doing some slice and dice on the reports, lots of things on the report. Let's bring one report for each, or you can say a big huge report which can read directly out of HANA, and you get one single report which is very optimal enough for your business. And then chain management, how your IT and systems will change, what are the skill set the end user have to develop, and what is the approach. So this is the chain management. First of all, IT and system, if you see, there the TCO count from the infrastructure perspective will reduce a lot because you have only SAP HANA and you don't have application layer in between. End users, obviously end users will not feel any change in their day-to-day activities, but HANA bases have to be very fine-tuned as per the performance and the upgrade process they should be aware of, and the approach, how you approach it. It can be a phase-by-phase migration or a one-shot migration. And project consideration is administration, business processes, solution, data. I think these are the few project considerations you have to really take care of before doing SAP HANA project. Then there was some cloud offerings by SAP HANA. So if you see, software as a service is SuccessFactors or On Demand, which is on SAP HANA Cloud. SuccessFactors is a cloud solution around HANA. Then you have platform as a service. Instead of getting your infrastructure, SAP HANA box in premise, you can always have your HANA box on cloud. And for big companies, we have something like infrastructure on cloud or enterprise on cloud, where they can have disaster recovery and high availability all on cloud. So these are the HANA offerings on cloud. As you can see the business scenario, the IDC report says 40% managers require more than 2 days to prepare financial data. So this is a business scenario very apt for HANA. The problem statement is we have a lot of systems. We have multiple data placed in multiple systems. That is one. And we have OLAP and OLTP as separate systems. These are the two bottlenecks for such a problem. And both the bottlenecks, if you see, SAP HANA is the solution for both. Because as I already talked, OLAP and OLTP system becomes one. And your HANA can cater to multiple databases. You have Oracle, you have planning DB different, you have predictive different, can be up to one as SAP HANA. Then let me take a use case for BW on HANA. What was the problem and what HANA has resolved? I think everyone is aware of SAP BW, which is a data warehouse, and it is used for more of a reporting purposes on OLAP, analytical and reporting, and SAP BW pre-existing business content, which helps in reducing implementation cycles. So challenges, what were the challenges in SAP BW? First of all, it was slow reporting performance, slow data loading performance, slow planning speed, need lots of performance optimization such as index creation, aggregates, no real-time data access, and SO activation took a lot of time. So these were the challenges, and this was taken care by SAP HANA. So if you see, HANA has faster data loads, faster reporting, faster planning speed, DSO activation is very fast, and reduced maintenance cost. Because already you have a compressed database, so if you say you have a data of around about 14 GB, you might expect something around 4 GB, 3 to 4 GB in HANA. That is the compression. It depends from 4x to 7x compression. And again, SAP BW and HANA, if you see here, all the analytical planning engine, data activation engine, processing have moved to SAP HANA layer. So all the NetWeaver BW stack, two of them moves to SAP HANA, and modeling is still in BW. Still you can do all the modeling around it. SAP, again, HANA, SAP what thought SAP implementation takes a lot of time. So SAP have come with something like rapid deployment solution, which is already there in the market for years. But yeah, for HANA also this solution is available. It gives you a pre-packed installation and solution around HANA, where you can just install it and move the data to HANA. One is SAP HANA Operational Reporting RDS. SAP have come with 23 different reports, standard reports, which they call it as operational reporting. And you can just move these reports. They're already there in HANA. You move the data to HANA and you're up and running without any modeling or any consideration on that front. So implementation, which takes years or months, can happen within days. That's what RDS is all about. Then is sentimental intelligence. This is clubbing social media to your HANA. I'll give you a real-time scenario again. Many people give a feedback on Facebook or Twitter regarding a customer. But that feedback, is it captured properly or not? What are the terms? Because for a retailer or for an industry to see your feedback and then work on it, it might take ages for them. Because processing time is huge. With coming of SAP HANA, if you see CRMs, if you raise a customer feedback via Twitter or you can say Facebook, it's captured via tags, sits in HANA, a report is generated, sent on the real time to the concerned department, and they work on it. Earlier it was like, again, a batch process will push it to analytical and then report is generated. So it might take months to get your feedback exactly to the concerned person. But now it's a matter of minutes or hours maximum. That's it. So that is what sentimental intelligence is all about. And then SAP HANA solutions at Mindtree, we have done this. This is an accelerator scenarios side by side. I think already I talked about side by side scenarios. So side by side is nothing but we have HANA parallel to your current landscape. So if you see, there are cash forecasting, COPA accelerator, FI accelerator, and customer segmentation. These, what does it? SAP has done. They have created the same COPA architecture which is there in currently SAP R3 system into HANA. Once you replicate your data or tables in SAP HANA, already the structure exists. And your same P code remains the same, everything remains the same. You can see via the same reporting structure which was earlier that your reports have been faster and you can get your month-end closing. Again, to give you a real-life example, a customer was taking 6 days to have the month-end process in place. With coming of SAP HANA, it takes only 1 day. It's a real-life scenario. I think every person must have faced it. Your payroll or pay slip come either a day before or 2 days after your salary is credited. Why this backlog? Because all your organization is saying after 28th, none of the expenses can be catered to, but still it takes them 10 days to generate your pay slip. With coming of SAP HANA, it might take only a day or half a day. So that's what the power of HANA is. So just to wrap up, because I wanted more time to focus on the questionnaire session than talking. So what we see here is run the business, reduce application running cost via database legacy application offering, improving transactional application performance, enabling elasticity and scale up, scale down. So with coming of HANA, you can run your business very efficiently by reducing the lot of systems in your landscape, by having the transactional and analytical data at one place and getting the real-time report. And again, you can scale up and scale down without thinking much of a full-time project, or you can say yearly projects over it. And then the grow the business. We all talk about HANA, but how can it benefit the customers or the people? The real-time scenarios are such that if a sales guy, I'll give you a concept. If you go and buy a grocery at a retailer, if you see the vegetable is costing you say 30 rupees, but on the fly, if you can check on your mobile with the help of SAP HANA that how the same vegetable at different vendors is priced at, you can go to nearby store and buy it from there and hence have a saving. So how this can be very effective? With coming of SAP HANA, you can get the real-time data. If a vendor feeds his pricing inside the table, all the vendors feed, and you have your mobile in hand, then you can just compare it and then buy it from the best vendor suitable for you. So that's where SAP HANA can come very handy to end user for organizations. Currently, an organization have to wait for their month-end report to come and then define their strategy for next month or next year. With coming of HANA, it can be done on the fly. What sales, how much sales should I give it to the end consumer? What type of discounts I can give? So these things can be given on the fly with SAP HANA because your reports are very fast. So you don't have to wait. A customer, there are two competitors. If one competitor has SAP HANA, he can get the reports in 5 minutes. But if a customer doesn't have SAP HANA, he might take 1 day. So he is saving at least 23 hours to 22 hours in generating a report. That time you can consume it via defining your strategy around how to sell the product. So that is how your business can grow. There is boosting response time, low latency. Okay, just giving you a live real-time scenario again. HANA, I already talked about it, works with a multi-processing, multi-thread. So to generate that type of data, I told there's a 100 gigabyte data per second throughput. So that amount of data, if you flow it through 512 GB of bandwidth, or you can say 10 gigabyte Ethernet connection, then it's valid. If you have a connection of 1 gigabyte and you're flowing the data at a speed of 100 gigabyte per second, there will be a choke in the network. So you have to have a full scale up for your landscape once you put HANA in place. You cannot expect, it's just like driving a Mercedes and thinking about fuel efficiency. So you have to build HANA infrastructure wise as well as HANA capabilities you have to take care. And one more thing I just want to bring your notice that these days people talk about SAP HANA is just a database. But within last 1 year, I think SAP has come up with SAP HANA is more than a database. Why is it so? Because you can do modeling around it, you can write your development around it. It's just an Eclipse tool. You can just do modeling, development and consume it via UI5. So it becomes an application for you, not only database, but yeah, you can do development. And transform the businesses. Currently you have big data, everyone is talking about big data. Big data is nothing but a huge amount of data. Big customers generate terabytes of petabytes of data every day. So how this data is to be handled? Because every data might have some in-depth consideration for a customer or but how his strategy is around that data. You have Hadoop in place. Hadoop is tightly integrated with HANA. For any of the SAP application, you have SLT, which replicates your data to HANA. You have data services, which caters to your unstructured data to HANA. You have something like Suite on HANA where you don't require any of the replication tools. So you have to think of a scenario where HANA can benefit you. You can just say, I want to go for HANA. First of all, you have to understand your pain points. Pain points means where your business is getting affected due to performance, due to business huge landscape in your infrastructure. So first understand those things and then you can go for SAP HANA because it's a cost. It doesn't come very easy. So I think I have 20 minutes with me. So I'll just try to take few of the questions before.
Thanks for the insightful presentation, Abhishek. Let's quickly.
So if somebody has any questions around HANA.
Yes, Abhishek. So I request you to read out the questions and their answers so that all our users may listen to your insights.
Yeah, I have one question is, does the database part of SAP HANA type of no SQL? Okay, see, SAP HANA comes with 3 softwares. One is HANA Database, one is HANA Studio, and one is HANA Client. HANA Client is where you get all the connected drivers, where you can connect your interfaces with. HANA Database is a database as other databases. You have a persistence layer and you have a in-memory, which is nothing but a RAM, which can be scaled up to 16 terabyte. So in that, HANA Studio is an Eclipse-based platform where you can do the scripting, and hence the SQL scripting is done on a HANA Studio, not at the database, because database is on Linux platform. So SAP gives you a UI platform to do all your developments. So that's part of database which is catered for development. Okay, I think that's I answered that. And you mentioned, second question is, you mentioned high rate of data in HANA, more it's costlier. How about CPU RAM usage? Also, why is it more data storage costly, especially when HDD is cheap nowadays? Okay, to answer this question is, HANA, all the licensing works on in-memory data, not on the persistence layer. In-memory is your RAM. So SAP says HANA is a very intelligent software which decides how much CPU it should use. So you don't have to do SAP user or SAP's user who are from SAP industry or your CPU sizing. If you do your sizing for RAM properly, that is your compression factor taking into consideration, SAP has a PAM, product availability matrix, in SAP Service Marketplace, where SAP has defined the you can say define the machines or the storage devices by default. If you're buying a 1 GB of HANA box, you might have a 5 times of persistence layer to store your data, and you might have something like CPU which might be 4 cores or whatsoever. So SAP intelligently has defined all your CPU and your user needs, but yeah, only the cost is about data in HANA, that is the RAM space you are trying to consume. So that's why it is a costly affair, that how much data you put in HANA, and as much data size increases, your cost increases. Next question is how we can use with APO and HANA. Okay, if I go to any customer, I think every customer has a problem that they bought BWA a few years back. What different can SAP HANA bring to them? And I think this is very similar to that APO already is in place, and they are using live cache with APO, and now HANA comes into picture. See, BWA or the live cache had some limitations. That is your data size. You can only place few data in your live cache, not the entire database. But with coming of SAP HANA, you can put entire your database onto SAP HANA. So there is no limitation. You can scale up, you can scale out. That's what a HANA can give you, the value add. So the APO part, again, you just are replacing your database with SAP HANA for faster processing. So all your live cache, which currently is getting a limitation by data size, can be taken care by HANA. Or else performance-wise, yeah, if you are using very less data, live cache can still persist. You don't need to go for SAP HANA. But if you want to scale up, if you want more reports, if you want more data on your database, live cache might not support, SAP HANA is the solution to it. Okay, next question is how does HANA compare with Hadoop? First of all, Hadoop is a big data solution which has some of the modeling done inside Hadoop for faster processing. But it has no technology like in-memory technology. It's a storage device. It's a warehouse device. It's not an in-memory technology. So Hadoop might not be able to enhance your performance by a 10x to 10,000 factor, but yeah, HANA can. You can use Hadoop in parallel to SAP HANA as a sidecar approach, where you keep all your data in Hadoop, and as you require, you can place that data onto HANA, and then you can see a fast processing, and again push it back to Hadoop. So that type of sync already SAP has provided with Hadoop, because SAP also understands HANA cannot survive without the integration with Hadoop and big data technologies. So that's the roadmap which SAP also has. Okay, next is what is investment for SAP HANA implementation? Here I say there are two types of cost involved. One is your infrastructure. That is HANA, you have to buy the hardware and pay for the license. Hardware cost, your hardware vendors takes care of. That is your IBM or your HP, Fujitsu. These are the hardware partners. There are 7 in number. And your implementation partner takes care. So these two you have to divide. Now hardware cost comes with your data size in HANA, which is how much data you want to put into HANA. That type of hardware you have to buy, thinking your future roadmap into consideration. That if I have to push, say every month I push 10 gigabytes of data, then within 3 years, if your HANA is getting fully occupied within say 6 months, it's no use investing in such infrastructure. So you have to think of your future growth as well as your cost. So then you have to go for SAP HANA infrastructure. And second, what type of pain points you have so that can be resolved. Because for small customers, Suite on HANA is still a long roadmap. But yeah, accelerators type of scenarios or HANA apps type of scenarios are the solution for you. So you have to sit back and think what type of solutions can they have around HANA, which can be optimal as per the cost and as per the benefits. So that's a weightage which every customer has to weigh. So that type of cost is required. And next question is, what are the basic infrastructure requirements for setting up HANA? I think already I talked a bit regarding the hardware and the licensing cost, implementation cost, and infrastructure is the bandwidth. So bandwidth you have to scale up. Whichever system is getting connected to HANA, SAP has a recommendation to go for 10 gigabytes Ethernet connection so that the data choke doesn't happen. You have no latency between two systems. So that is one more cost which you have to consider before going to SAP HANA. Okay, next is what is difference between SAP BW and SAP HANA? Both are used for business intelligence. Okay, to answer this, business warehouse is a OLAP system. It's not OLTP. And the difference between OLAP and OLTP is transactional data is the current data and OLAP is the historical data. So BW, you are only accessing the historical data, not the current one. Every now and then via batch process or via once in a day, via any of the tool, you are pushing your data to BW. So obviously, if there is a lack of 10 hours, 20 hours to push the data to BW, you might not get that data in your report. And again, report might be very slow on BW system. It might take 4 hours or 10 hours to generate a report out of BW. But same report can get generated in HANA within seconds or minutes. That's the power of HANA. So that's what BW and HANA are two different systems altogether. You can have BW running on SAP HANA. So that is one of a solution, but that still will cater to your only OLAP solutioning, not OLTP. So the processing of reports in BW can be very fast and quick. So that's what the difference between BW and SAP HANA. Next is, when should the customer look at SAP HANA in their roadmap? Is it when they have large data to manage, store, or when they need better data throughput for reporting? I'll say both the cases. If you have large data, obviously you require lots of backups to be taken, lots of systems to be maintained. And again, if you require something to be restored from that system, it's a cumbersome process. You need a data center which can be of multiple systems. With coming of HANA, first of all, a current data which is say 1 terabyte might get squeezed to 40 GB. So you're already saving 60 GB of size. Your data gets compressed. And second thing is better throughput. Obviously, once you're using HANA technology, your data throughput is very strong and very fast. So both the benefits you get, but again, it's the cost involvement. Might be it's cheaper for you to currently have your database backed up in Oracle and hard drives. But coming off HANA, yeah, it will be a costly affair because you pay with the size of data in HANA. Okay, is SAP HANA RDML, RDBMS? RDBMS is Relational Database Management System. Obviously, if you are talking about SAP HANA database as a database, it follows all the 4 conditions of a database. That is your asset. It is accurate, integral, consistent, and it's non-duplicate, it's durable. So all the 4 things are taken care by SAP HANA. That's why it is called a database. So it's obviously a RDBMS. So any more question around HANA? Yeah. Okay, is live cache and fusion cache one and the same? As I said, SAP HANA was not involved in a day. It was a journey. So journey was first live cache came into picture. Then you have BW accelerator came into picture. And then your SAP HANA evolved. So everything had a limitation. In live cache, you could only put some amount of data, not the entire database, into live cache. Then again, you could not create, you could only have created indexes into your tracks engine or accelerators. With coming of HANA, you can scale up to any level, any type of, or means any amount of data you can keep in SAP HANA, and you will get that same performance or better than that, because aggregation is not supported in HANA. Indexing, by default, HANA is intelligent to create index on its own. So indexing also you don't have to bother. So these are the few intelligent things which HANA does on its own. So live cache, yeah, it's a, you can say, growth. HANA has grown out of live cache in a better way. So that's what it is. So next is, does HANA comes under MPP columnar store like Microsoft PWDs in both the approved hardware and an appliance? See, HANA like Microsoft PWD, since both are approved hardware appliance. Okay, MPP I see here is Microsoft Project Planning. If I'm right, then obviously all the companies have their own column store. SAP, we are talking about SAP HANA. But yeah, you can always compress your data in Oracle also. Compression happens because those are stored in column. So all the companies like Oracle, Microsoft have column store in itself. Okay, sorry, I got it wrong. It was massively parallel processing. In my first few slides, I talked about SAP HANA, where we have multi-core, multi-thread architecture, and hence multi-processing is very much valid in HANA. That's why column store can be efficiently used with multi-processing. Because if you don't use multi-processing, it might be next to row store. And row store, the difference is, if under country, India is stored 50 times. In row store, it will be saved as 50 times. But in column store, it will be stored as 1 and linkage to 50 places. So that's where column store comes into picture. It hits your country column, hits India, and then moves vertical to get the data. So that's where your parallel processing is very fast and very efficient with column store. So HANA does support that. Okay, next is what other products can be installed on HANA like SAP BW. Okay, to come up with this, I think in the offerings, if you have heard properly, first is Suite on HANA, which gives you a solution where entire SAP landscape can be put on HANA and the Oracle can be removed. That is one solution which is a huge infrastructure change for all the customers. Second is which customers doesn't want to hamper their current landscape and still want to use the features of HANA. There is a sidecar approach where you can just have a HANA landscape parallel to your Oracle landscape, put your data in HANA, and then with the same apps layer, you can read data from HANA. So that is one of the approach with a minimal cost and minimal change to infrastructure. Third thing is if you want to have all the modeling done out of HANA, you can do via SQL scripting, and the world is open for you from the UI perspective, UI layer, reporting layer. All the sub tools like ClickTech, Tableau, business objects, your UI5, web, Fury, all are supported via HANA. So you can connect through any of the drivers which comes as a HANA client installer. So SAP has not put any restriction in your consumption of HANA. You can consume it in any way as you want. So that is what are the products clubbed. It's all SAP products, and non-SAP also can be taken care by SAP HANA, where you can use ETL tool like data services to migrate your Oracle DB to HANA, and then use your same reporting layer and get the reports out of it. Yeah. So next is how do one buy HANA from the vendors, Dell, IBM, etc. Also, how is the pricing, licensing, variance? Okay, for this I'll suggest go to Service Marketplace. There is a product availability matrix. Search for HANA. You get a product availability matrix where all the vendors have given their hardware specifications. As per your data size in HANA, you can select the model, then talk to the vendor. The vendor details are there. And once you buy the hardware, obviously you have to get the license for the software from SAP. So it's a hardware cost plus software cost. And the pricing, as I said, it always is done on your data size in HANA. Or for few big data landscape like BW and HANA, it might vary on your maintenance, what you pay to SAP on an annual basis. It might be a percentage of it. So to be in a layman term, it's all about data, what you keep in HANA, you pay for it. Next is, does SAP HANA only work with SAP application and SAP related apps? No, it works with non-SAP also. You can club any, wherever database is existing, you can replace it with SAP HANA. That's the ground reality, that's it. You don't need to think about the front end. It's just a database replacement for your fast processing. Yeah, okay. One more question is, does in-memory processing require more CPU compared to other technologies like Oracle? First of all, Oracle works in a input-output I/O time frame, which is like you have to have a swap space, you have to have a cache, and once you run a report, the data is stored in cache. Second time retrieval is fast out of Oracle. That's, everyone knows about it. That's how our web also works. What SAP has done, it has increased your cache space, where you can put your entire database instead of having load and unload from the cache. Cache is nothing but your RAM. So that's what SAP has come. And again, CPU. SAP already have defined the infrastructure of SAP HANA through vendors. If you have this much of data, this much by default CPU is required, and hence it is taken care by default. You only have to worry about your database size in SAP HANA, not the CPU alone. So that's taken care by default. Okay, again I reiterate, all the functional people or all the BAPers want to understand with the coming of SAP HANA, where will we stand. You are the same, you are still there in the market, you will still remain. No one can replace till the SAP doesn't replace their function modules. So function modules still exist, because I have a question here, will ABAP become obsolete in HANA? No, never. But you have to upgrade yourself to ABAP 7.4, which is HANA optimized. But still you will be a ABAPer, still you will be coding on HANA. With the coming of ABAP development kit, now you can have the Eclipse interface like you code for Java on Eclipse, you can same way do for ABAP on HANA. So SAP has given you a UI interface, which is very much giving you tips and tricks to code efficiently. So that's what ABAP is. So second is for business predictive analysis, can I use language R against HANA? Obviously you can use, but language R is only supported by Linux machine. So you have to have a Linux infrastructure where you write your R language and then you call it via procedures on SAP HANA. So that way you can use, but R language, you cannot code it directly on HANA. You need a separate Linux box for it. See, as next question is, does HANA support L18N at database level? HANA is a database, so it is supporting all the capabilities which Oracle support today or any other database like MySQL or MaxDB. It supports each and every functionality of a database. What's the difference between Run SAP and HANA? Run SAP is nothing but all the SAP first tries to run their technologies in their infrastructure. So Run SAP is giving a solution where SAP has already implemented in their landscape, and you have a SAP up and running. And HANA is a different technology altogether. It's a methodology and it's a technology. So that's what Run SAP and HANA is. So any more questions, or it's...
No, Abhishek, due to time constraint, I have to request you to take the unanswered questions offline, which I will share with you through email. So if you would like to sum up the session for today, you can do it now.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Rana. To sum up the session, first of all, HANA is an appliance which speeds up your processing. So please don't confuse it with anything else. It's a database and application because you can do a coding out of it, and it is very much tightly integrated with SAP as well as non-SAP systems, and you can consume the views or models created out of HANA on any front end. So never ever get confused. Is HANA can be integrated in your landscape or not? It can be integrated to any landscape wherever database exists. So that is one which I want to reiterate. Second thing is, if you go to any customer, talk to any person, today maximum number of people are losing time due to the processing speed, which has been taken care by SAP HANA. So if you have HANA in your landscape, you might get a factor from a senior management like I did, from a CEO of a company. I should take 15 minutes to open this report. Now it takes only 30 seconds. I have saved 14.5 minutes of my day. So that type of wow effect it gives you. So HANA can be integrated to any landscape, anywhere. And if you have any further questions or queries for me, my email ID is there, and also you can share it, which I think TechGig people will share with me. I'll be very happy to respond. So thanks guys, thanks for your time. I believe I have thrown some light on HANA, and you people might be, at least say, gain some knowledge out of it. So thanks for your time, and thanks for the session. Thank you.
And I'm really thankful to our guest speaker today for conducting this wonderful webinar. It was indeed a great session. I would also like to thank all our participants for their support in making this webinar a success. The recording of the webinar will be available on techgig.com by tomorrow. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Abhishek, for all your time. Have a great evening ahead.